Hi everyone, welcome to this company request portal tutorial. My name is Peter and I'm a technical support associate here at Upkeep. Today, I'm going to teach you how to utilize this feature for your team. So the first thing we need to ask ourselves is, what is the company request portal? Well, this is a feature that provides team admins a URL so they can distribute that to people outside your team who want to submit work order requests. So this is good for outside users like tenants, employees, or third-party users that need to submit requests through an external form and don't need a login. This is similar to requester users, but the main difference is that requesters can log in to create their request inside the app. Also, this feature is available starting with the professional plan. So if you're on the free or starter version, you can always request for a 7-day trial to test this out. Perfect. So now let's dive into the web application and I'll show you how to use the request portal for work order and purchase order requests. Okay, let's look at work order requests first. So as you see here, I'm logged in as an admin. Let's go ahead and click on the request portal tab right here. Now, upon first glance, there's a lot of different links, and I would recommend reading the description underneath each link before distributing these out to outside users, so that way you know exactly what they're intended for. So let's start with the first one. This is a toggle option so that you can disable or enable the company request portal. Maybe a reason to keep it disabled is if you want to keep the request process internally and don't want to distribute them to people outside your team. That's one of the reasons. If we go down a little bit, this is the section where you can access the link to the external work order request form. So let's go ahead and click into this link and see how that external form looks like. So it looks like this, very similar to the one that you submit in the app as a requester user. Now there are a few things you can do to this. Number one, you can customize the URL. Let's say I don't want that my name at the end. I want to change it to something else. If that URL name is already taken, it'll tell you in the red error message. However, if I do one that hasn't been taken, then I would get a green success message. I can also edit this public request form. I can do things like adding a task, meaning I can add in my own default field. So let's say I want to have a field where these outside users have to enter their address. And I can just make that a text form item. I have the option of making that required or not. And I can add multiple ones as well, not just one. And some of these default fields here, say for my outside users, they really don't need to be putting an asset. Then some of these fields, I have the options to make it optional, hidden, or required. So I'll leave the asset and maybe the category section hidden because that doesn't apply to my outside users. Then I click Save Form Template. Now let's go ahead and click on that link with those new updates being made. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly fill this out. I can also do things like adding an image or a file. If I'm adding one or the other, just keep in mind that the size limit has to be 10 megabytes or lower. So I'm just going to put this one here, broken door handle. And then lastly, I'll just put in that address, the one I created earlier. And after everything else looks good, I can go ahead and submit the work order request. And once that's submitted, for admins, you can go ahead and go to this request tab, and that's where you can check your work order request that's been sent in from these outside users. And for external users, if you want to check on the status of your work order request, you can by clicking here where it says work order requests. Or the admin has the ability to distribute out the link where you can view requests as well. And one last added tip on the section is, say if you have hundreds of external users to distribute the URL to, some customers have posted the request portal link as a hyperlink on their company website. So let's just say this is an example of their company website. They would just have a section where you can post a link to the external form. Finally, we have our purchase order requests, which gives the ability for technicians or even outside external users to submit requests needed to order certain parts for their inventory. Keep in mind though that purchase order request is a feature that's available on the Business Plus plan. So again, if you're on a lower plan, request for a 7-day trial so you can test this out for you and your team. All right, so we're in the same request portal tab again. This time we're going to go down further and then over here where it says purchase order requests, we're going to click into that link so you can distribute that out to any outside user that needs to submit purchase order requests. Anything that's in the red asterisk means it's a required field. So let's go ahead and fill this out really quick. And if some of these fields don't apply to you, then you can leave those blank. And then going down further, you can add things like parts. You can add parts that are existing in your team's inventory, or you can add a non-existing part as well. For this example, let's just add a test one. I can do things like adjust the quantity. And then once everything else looks good, I can click Submit Purchase Order Request. All right, finally, so on the admin side, you can go ahead and click to where it says Purchase Orders, and the one that we just created called Test PO. This is where you can go ahead and review the request that came in. You can approve it, you can fulfill it as well. Once all those parts were received, then that purchase order request has been completed. Finally, we have our resources to provide additional guidance that you need in case you need more help or have any general questions. And that wraps up this video. I hope you found this helpful. Until next time, take care.